A failure is not always a mistake. It may simply be the best one can do under the circumstances. The real mistake is to stop trying. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Winning is great, sure, but if you are really going to do something in life, the secret is learning how to lose. Nobody goes undefeated all the time. If you can pick up after a crushing defeat and go on to win again, you are going to be a champion someday. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you have failed by default. Failure should be our teacher, not our undertaker. Failure is delay, not defeat. It is a temporary detour, not a dead end. Failure is something we can avoid only by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. Failure after long perseverance is much grander than never to have a striving good enough to be called a failure. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Remember that failure is an event, not a person. If you're doing your best, you won't have any time to worry about failure. When I was young, I observed that 9 out of 10 things I did were failures, so I did 10 times more work. I never see failure as failure, but only as the game I must play and win. Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. Don't be afraid of missing opportunities. Behind every failure is an opportunity somebody wishes they had missed. Success isn't permanent, and failure isn't fatal. A person who doubts himself is like a man who would enlist in the ranks of his enemies and bear arms against himself. He makes his failure certain by himself being the first person to be convinced of it. There is no failure except in no longer trying. The guns and the bombs, the rockets and the warships are all symbols of human failure. Failure is a detour, not a dead-end street. Our best successes often come after our greatest disappointments. It's best to have failure happen early in life. It wakes up the phoenix bird in you, so you rise from the ashes. All that is necessary to break the spell of inertia and frustration is this: act as if it were impossible to fail. That is the talisman, the formula, the command of right about face, which turns us from failure to success. It is not a disgrace to fail. Failing is one of the greatest arts in the world. The person interested in success has to learn to view failure as a healthy, inevitable part of the process of getting to the top. I don't believe in failure. It is not failure if you enjoyed the process. Failure is a word that I simply don't accept. Failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be. Success represents the 1% of your work which results from the 99% that is called failure. Restlessness is discontent, and discontent is the first necessity of progress. Show me a thoroughly satisfied man, and I will show you a failure. In the business world today, failure is apparently not an option. We need to change this attitude toward failure and celebrate the idea that only by falling on our collective business faces do we learn enough to succeed down the road. I've come to believe that all my past failure and frustration were actually laying the foundation for the understanding that have created a new level of living I now enjoy. Losing is no disgrace if you've given your best. Never walk away from failure. On the contrary, study it carefully and imaginatively for its hidden assets. A life which does not go into action is a failure. You will be a failure until you impress the subconscious with the conviction you are a success. This is done by making an affirmation which clicks. Before success comes in any man's life, he's sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failures. When defeat overtakes a man, the easiest and most logical thing to do is quit. That's exactly what the majority of men do. If something's important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. Develop success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. I have self doubt. I have insecurity. I have fear of failure. I have nights when I show up at the arena and I'm like, my back hurts, my feet hurt, my knees hurt. I don't have it. I just want to chill. We all have self doubt. You don't deny it, but you also don't capitulate to it. You embrace it. Failure at some point in your life is inevitable, but giving up is unforgivable. Failure is a great teacher, and I think when you make mistakes and you recover from them and you treat them as valuable learning experiences, then you've got something to share. All men can and will change, but there's only one woman we're going to change for.